give up on sex, don't give up on birth control either. There are more methods than you think. Find yours at bedsider.org.
My boyfriend smokes a lot of weed, like a lot, which basically makes his sperm dead. So we're not all that careful anymore. His doctor said if he didn't stop smoking, his sperm count will be so low, he'll never be able to have kids. And I'm like, jackpot.
Marijuana may or may not lower sperm count, but that doesn't mean that you won't get pregnant. Think about all the pot they smoked back in the 60s and 70s, and the population just keeps on growing.
I'm with a wonderful guy who I actually met in nursing school. We've been together for about 1.5 years now. And we have a very open and honest relationship. We communicate a lot. And I think a lot of that we probably learned in school as far as learning how to communicate with patients. It works very well in relationships as well. And it's really great just because we both have somewhat of a timeline as far as a family goes and what we want to do in our lives. We share the same vision. Being on birth control right now is really important to me because in my big Mexican family, we have been known to have a lot of children, and there have been some kind of horror stories. Whereas my uncle, when he was 14, he had his first child, and then that daughter who grew up when she was 14, she grew up and she had her first child at 14 also. I have unfortunately messed up in not taking my pill on time, and it did result in a pregnancy scare, which was only a scare and it actually wasn't an actual pregnancy, but it was enough to make me realize that I needed to fix the system that I had to make sure that I was taking my pill every day. I used to just keep it by my alarm clock, and when I would hit snooze, I would always forget to take my pill. So, yeah, I just got the idea to put it right by my toothbrush, which has been really, really helpful. If I remember to keep my birth control pill right next to my toothpaste, it helps me very much to remember to take it every day at the same time. The only thing that I can see changing over the course of 10 to 15 years is that I'd be ready to start having a family, and I may consider moving outside of San Francisco just to buy a home or something like that, but my goal is to still remain a nurse in maternity. My name is Monique, I'm 26 years old, and I take orthotricycline, the birth control pill.
You didn't give up on sex, don't give up on birth control either. There are more methods than you think. Find yours at bedsider.org.
Here's the thing. If someone has a sexually transmitted disease, you could totally tell because there's always a giveaway. Little bumps or blisters or itching. Like if someone scratches themselves a lot, that's a sign. You just have to pay close enough attention, I think.
Unfortunately, you can't really judge a book by its cover. A lot of STIs are completely invisible. You won't be able to tell. The only way to be sure is to get tested.
There was one time when I had a little too much to drink and we ended up just not using the spermicidal condoms, and that next morning I just went up to the drugstore and got the EC just in case, or not just in case, but definitely in case. Yeah. I never had any side effects from the emergency contraception at all. It always worked well. I never was nauseous or anything. It really just take it and go. And works well. I think the emergency contraception is definitely worth it. It's like $40, which is like a pain in the ass, but you know, it's worth it. If you need it, you need it, and you need to go get it.
When I had a pregnancy scare, actually the condom had broke, and I did go to the doctor's, and at the time it was called, I believe, Plan B, and he actually did give me 2 or 3 different samples to have just in case it happened in the future, which was also nice because you know your doctor's working for you. But I don't know what would have happened if I didn't take the Plan B emergency contraception. It might be a different story. I don't know.
I've never taken any Plan B or morning after pill. I've never been in that situation, and I haven't been unsure about myself.
I found out about Plan B through TV commercials, advertisements. I just, you know, it had been in my mind. My parents had talked to me about it, so I always knew that it was there. I never thought that I'd use it. But I knew that my health center at my college provided it. So that was always a comfort knowing that that was there just in case.
I've only taken emergency contraception once, and that was in my first year of college. I had sex with a man and the condom broke. So I went and had the morning after pill just in case.
I actually have taken Plan B before when I was on the pill because I couldn't remember if I took it at the right time.
There was one time where I just really didn't want to risk it at all, and I took the morning after pill, and I got it from it. And I love how they make it over the counter now, because you have to be over 18 or 17, I believe, to get it. But you can go to any drugstore and pick it up pretty much, and so that is a huge relief. And people at Planned Parenthood gave me plenty of those too, so I love them at Planned Parenthood.
I'm 21, so between 16 and 21, I've took Plan B about 5 times, I would guess. I asked my boyfriend if he comes in me, and if he says, oh, I don't remember, or I think so, then that's an arrow like, okay, you need to go get Plan B.
I have never taken any emergency contraceptive. I really don't want children, so I'm pretty steady with my birth controls.
I used emergency contraception before. Well, we were using the pull-out method, and well, there was cum in me, so I decided to talk to my counselor at school, and she told me that she would get me Plan B, the emergency contraceptive, and I just had to take the 2 pills, and it worked. You have to take them like before 72 hours.
I took emergency contraception because a condom broke, and that was it. I had to go get it. When I went to the clinic, they actually gave me 2 extra to keep on hand. I ended up giving them to my girlfriends that needed them.
Immediately after having unprotected sex with my son's father, I went to the doctor and got the morning after pill like the next day, and she was like, yeah, just take these and you know, you shouldn't get pregnant. And then I did get pregnant, so I guess I was just the exception.
I've never, knock on wood, had a pregnancy scare, so I've never had to use emergency contraception.
I think when I was about like 20 or something, my doctor was just like, oh, are you having sex? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, oh, here, have some Plan B, sort of thing. And I was like, oh, well, great, thank you. Like, it was really, I felt like it was really nice of her to just, you know, like, here's, you know, contraception, you know, because a lot of people feel like, you know, people under a certain age shouldn't have any. So I thought that was really nice of her to just, you know, oh, here, have some Plan B, you know, just in case. Like, you know, you're in college, don't, you know, try not to get pregnant.
Emergency contraception is something that I had on hand because I guess it was a special type of promotion, or my doctor wanted me to know that emergency contraception existed. So along with my stack of patches for the few months, she gave me a pack. So I just happened to have it, and it was convenient at the time.
To get the emergency pill, I do travel to Kaiser's Pharmacy because it's cheaper. I have health insurance there, so it's usually like $15 to $16. But if I go to Walgreens, it's a lot more expensive. It's more than $50.
Thankfully, I've never had a condom break or had unprotected sex, so I've never really had any reason to resort to the Plan B pill or any kind of emergency contraception.
I know that you should take it within 72 hours or something like that, but I don't know if it's available to everybody. I don't know where to find it. I don't know how much it costs, and that's very important for me. How much?
I always make sure to have emergency contraception in the house. I think it's one of those things that I never not want to be without. Just in general, I'm a big preparation person. Like, I have a big calendar. I plan ahead as much as I can. And so I think it just makes sense to have EC in my home if I'm going to be sexually active, especially now that we're just using condoms. Before, when we were using birth control and condoms, we felt that we were using them correctly and consistently, and that was great. But now that we're only using condoms when we are sexually active, it's something that I think I always feel better knowing that it's in the home. It's something that to be honest, I tell my friends that are sexually active, and they're like, oh, I think I might need it. And I'm like, well, look, if you have it in your house, then you don't have to go to Walgreens or CVS or anything like that. Like, just go put it in your medicine cabinet.
I always heard that as long as you don't have an orgasm, you can't get pregnant, because the contractions in your muscles for the orgasm are what help the sperm travel up to meet the egg. So if you don't come, they just kind of sit there.
Oh.
False in so many ways. If the guy doesn't have an orgasm, then it's unlikely you'll get pregnant. But your orgasm has nothing to do with it. So go for it. Don't let the guy have all the fun.
My name is Phil. I live in Austin, Texas, and I work in insurance. I've been living in Austin for about 4 years, and I really enjoy it here. I'm currently in a 2-year relationship. We've both talked about having kids in the future, but we don't necessarily want to do that right away. We are both of the same opinion. We've talked about this a lot because it's something that I think we both want down the line, but neither one of us are ready to jump into that right away. We've been sexually active in the relationship for a year and a half, I would say, and we use condoms regularly as our primary method of contraception. We did use birth control pills for a while. She got on those for I think maybe like 5 or 6 months at one point, and that was fine. The only problem that happened with that was that there were some side effects that she didn't. She would prefer not to have, and they were expensive, and it was, keeping up with taking them every day. It was just kind of okay, we tried that, that's fine. Condoms seemed to be easier. They were cheaper. It was something that we both agreed, it was fine in terms of like the sensations while having sex. I never had any problem with it. In fact, I liked it because it helped me go longer, and it was always nice to be able to, stretch it out whenever you could. So we both enjoyed that, and we went back to condoms. We've been using those ever since. There is some loss of sensations from using a condom, but and I've heard other friends complain about those things. Not really an issue with me because I don't feel that losing the sensation. For one, it's not enough to be able to make a big difference to me, and also obviously the benefits of using it far outweigh STIs, getting pregnant, things like that don't want that right now. I mostly buy the condoms, but she has condoms too. It's kind of, we keep plenty around, so we always have them. So you don't do the midnight runs, out to places and trying to find some place that's open. But generally I buy the condoms. My name is Phil, I'm 28 years old, and my girlfriend and I use condoms.